Hi, my name is Jeff Ratliff. I go by Bubblegum Oculi or Gumball Oculi if there's a character restriction. I was previously known as a Phoenix Hour and a Phoenix Sunrise. I am 35 years old and I live in the college city of Ann Arbor where I grew up. Currently, I work at one of, if not the most renowned arcade in Michigan, Pinball Pete's. We're not a bowling alley or a roller rink. There's no bar or menu. And the best part about it is, everything still runs on quarters. I've been playing video games ever since I can remember. Uh, Duck Hunt and diapers. I think a lot of us can relate to that. My dad used to take me to arcades all the time when I was younger. A lot of air hockey and a lot of video arcade games. One of my earliest memories of Street Fighter was shortly after Turbo released for the Super Nintendo, and I think it was around that same time that the movie released too. I was about 5 years old. Me and my best friend wanted to go play Street Fighter outside, where then he proceeded to accidentally knock out my front teeth. So then again, it was my father who introduced me to fighting games, despite my mother's disapproval for obvious reasons. My friends and I button mashed through Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat for years until my father brought home Tekken on the PlayStation. Around that time, he really started teaching me the fundamentals of fighting games. Because of that, Tekken was the fighting game that I played primarily up into the fourth installment, when I started exploring the SNK fighters such as Fatal Fury and King of Fighters. So from there, SNK vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom reintroduced me to Capcom fighting mechanics, both of which I played at the arcade that I now work at. Started attending tournaments about 2017, 2018, right before the pandemic hit. So I never really got a chance to get my ranking there, and just never really took the opportunity to do tournaments online. But now I work at the arcade, and everybody wants to play the house. At least I know I can hold my own. My scene really is more in the arcade, facing people one-on-one. There's something about that. There's something about that environment, that scene, that creates such a different learning experience than tournaments or even playing at a friend's house. But during the pandemic, I lost my job as a massage therapist and I couldn't go to the arcade. So I decided to build an arcade panel of my own. And since I was playing a lot of Smash Brothers at the time with my friends, I decided to make it for Smash Brothers. This is actually my very first build. So I built this straight from a prototype. It was actually a panel from the back of a bookcase that I cut up and glued together, but it works. Analog stick, tilt stick, D-pad, all of it. There are a couple of goals and ambitions that I have set for this opportunity. One of them is to pull my YouTube off the back burner, Games on a Stick. It coincides with my username. It's a reference to the ice cream popsicles that we used to get as kids with the bubblegum eyeballs. Maybe some of us still get them. Who am I to judge? I love them. So Games on a Stick simply is the concept of playing games on joysticks or arcade sticks that wouldn't be conventionally played on them otherwise, such as Smash Bros.
Metroid Prime.
Or I've even played Mario Tennis. I played Dead Cells is one of my favorites right now. Hollow Knight, Trials is a lot of fun. And even Rocket League. I can play other games too, such as Shredder's Revenge or Scott Pilgrim. And you best believe I use these for Street Fighter. So I guess that answers who I main. But even though I've been playing with Ken my whole life, I really like what I've seen with DJ. As far as community goals is concerned, not only do I want to bring a bit more competition to my local arcade, but I found that I really like building fight sticks. So I really want to get to the point where I can just start making and building and designing unique, unconventional fight sticks for anybody. And I guess as far as my own personal growth within the community, I am looking to play good people so I can get better and continue to hold my own at the arcade. And as my and as what I represent is concerned, I even though the tournament scene is mostly at the university, I'm sure most of you have heard of Big House. I never really felt like I was a part of the university, probably because I never really attended it. But I don't know if I can really represent the city either, seeing as I might be getting priced out soon. So I think if I were to represent anything, it would probably have to be the arcade, Pinball Beats. It's actually under threat right now by a developer who wants to buy the property from the people who we rent from. There was actually a public meeting where a lot of people showed up and voiced their discontent to the developers themselves. It was quite a sight. Honestly, it's something. Honestly, it's kind of something straight out of a college '80s movie, except I'm not going to be able to win the property by playing the developers in a game of pinball or Street Fighter for that matter. So I think for the sake of all video game arcades everywhere, I think that's what I would be representing. So yeah, I think that pretty much introduces who I am, what I'm about, and why I want to be next up. Thank you so much for your consideration. I really hope to hear from you soon. Cheers.